Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Campbell's Morrels Music Rig Rundown. Already, we're on episode 8. We keep bringing these every week to you, talking about local musicians, local bands, promoting their products, showing the rigs they are running, and some of the stuff that they're using that you can buy here at Campbell's Morrels Music. I got a special guest all the way from Abingdon, Virginia tonight. We welcome Mr. Kris McCrady on guitar.
Hello.
You can check Kris out with Wilson in the Walk. If you've seen our rig rundown a couple weeks ago, we had Scott Thomas, who is the drummer for Wilson in the Walk. And Kris plays lead guitar in that band. You might remember him from Farmhouse Ghost and a few other projects from over the years.
Yeah.
I think you've played on a few of Moose Roberts' 58 albums or something.
No, I played on some Adam
Bolt
albums.
Okay.
And, never made it to Moose.
Okay, so
I don't use enough reverb for Moose, I don't believe.
We're just trying to give a shout out to Moose because we know he's probably watching these YouTube.
He's definitely watching them.
Yeah.
And he's learning. He's like a jet engine. He just absorbs knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we welcome you tonight, and glad you're here and made the drive down to join us.
Absolutely.
Again, we're just going to jump straight in the rig, talk about Kris's impressive rig, and I always start with the guitar. And my favorite color is green, and you add a little sparkle to it, makes it even better. My favorite guitar is a Fender Telecaster, so
Yeah.
I'll let you. Well, I don't know what year it is or anything, but I'll let you talk about the Fender guitar there.
This is I believe, a 2020 Player Plus Fender Telecaster. These are actually humbuckers, even though they don't have the typical characteristics of a humbucker. It is, and by the way, this is my clean tone. It does have coil taps. A lot of times when you have guitars with the coil taps, the single coil really drops off volume and generally doesn't work very well. In this case, though, it really does. You can hear the single coils kick in right there. But and here it is in standard humbucker mode.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. I mean, you still get all the telly twang in both modes, really, but with the quietness of the humbucker,
Yeah.
cutting out some of that 60 cycle hum.
That's what I really liked about this guitar. Is it is generally pretty twangy. It does lend itself to the R&B thing, the country thing, and it's perfectly
fits everything.
suitable. Yeah, most styles of rock.
Yeah, and we'll throw links up for Wilson in the Walk. As you know, I think I play bass in that band, but I'm not sure.
Sometimes, yeah.
But you can check out a live EP we got up on YouTube.
Yeah, which we recorded actually 10 feet from here, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jason Vapor for that.
Yep, for sure. And I guess we'll go from guitar to your pedal board and start talking about some of your pedals. And you've got like a patch bay of sorts.
I do.
To make it easier for you to switch on and off pedals, but we'll kind of talk about your signal flow and how you're using these pedals. And I'll just let you go through one at a time.
Okay. So first in I have the Swollen Pickle from Way Huge. This is not something I think I'm typically known for, but the reason I put it first, it wants all the information that it can get since it's a fuzz pedal. So I put it at the first of the line. It will go through this bypass patch commander. It will hit one buffer on its way out, as everything will. Maybe that's actually where we should start.
Okay.
I have the MXR microamp at the end, so it does. It is a buffered signal, so it's not true bypass. Put that at the end so that it will buffer at the end of the signal. Also, one advantage of doing that right at the end with this particular pedal is this is a very neutral, not a mid-range, more like a full-range boost. So on the volume swell thing, here it is clean. And here it is, just a little bit of that boost.
Yeah, that sounds great. It kind of brings a more body back to the whole signal for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on the amp, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, it's set up to where I like to set it to where basically with just a little bit of that very clean, what essentially is an overdrive or a clean gain stage, it will push the amp and put it into a mode where it will break up just a little bit.
Gotcha.
Back to the swollen pickle though, and I'll play a riff from Wilson and the Walk. This is a great, absolutely fantastic fuzz box.
Heck yeah. Almost sounds like it's just going a blown speaker kind of thing.
It's going to blow up. Yeah, exactly. And I really like that sound. I like that also with the next we'll go to patch number 2, which is the more or less the overdrive and the distortion. So the MXR Sugar Drive is what I'm using for my overdrive. It sounds like this. And with that swollen pickle in front of it, it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess gives it a little more even then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other sound there is kind of that bluesy. Really, the only thing I have on here that I'd consider to be cheap would be this Bad Monkey, which I think I paid $35 for from Amazon. So if you see these in, or if they ever get them here in the store, this is a fantastic pedal for kind of like a tube screamer sound, except it does separate its EQ, so you can control the high and the low range. Pretty good mids on this pedal too, but those in basically where you have one overdrive, if you have 2, you actually have 3. So here's this by itself. And here they are together. And then as you can tell with the one foot switch, I'm able to turn all of that off instead of having to be up here on stage doing as much dancing.
Yeah, so you got your patch bay set up for just individual pedals on and off, and you could also set it up for like creating like scenes or patches for like multiple pedals if you wanted to go
exactly.
that route.
Yeah, that's right. It does have a mode where you can cycle through different, like you said, different scenes.
Yeah.
I don't use it that way just because of how I have it set up, but I was really skeptical of whether or not I needed this thing, but it has cut down on a lot of dancing.
Yeah. Tap dancing on a pedal board. You see a lot of people
Yeah.
a lot of people doing it. It's especially when you got big feet, it's kind of hard to get around on it.
It is. And when it's dark in the place you're at, like that thing lights
Yeah.
up, and that was a worthy investment. Also, as far as getting good cleans go, I do have the Keeley compressor, which I do set into single coil mode, even though I am using humbuckers. I do like to use the Boss EQ pedal. I push the mids just a little bit. As you can see on there, it's nothing extreme, but for cleans it'll sound like this.
It just gives that tail even a little bit more spank at the end, and you can hear. I mean, just like keeps your like spikes down,
Exactly.
but lets you play aggressively and still create that spank. Yeah.
And as far as compressor goes, it doesn't need to be anything extreme. crank that, turn it up, turn the sustain up to where you think it sounds good, and then cut it back a little bit.
Yeah. Some people will squash the devil out of it.
Some people will just go insane with that, and it's really hard to listen to. So. Along those same lines with that, if I kill the EQ and just use the compressor in single coil mode for the kind of the funk sound. Kind of that punchy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can get that basically with a pull of the switch there.
Mm-hmm. Then that's basically your whole like drive section, boost section, and everything else looks like. Well, you got one more drive, I guess you can talk about.
I do, yeah. I have the full tone OCD, which they recently quit making. I just got the feeling he just didn't want to do it anymore. But this is one pedal I actually run in 18 volt mode. So kind of a pain to find an 18 volt adapter, but with the power, I actually have the MXR power strip, whatever that thing's called, under there. And it has a couple of 18 volt cords that come off of it. So with that thing in 18 volt mode, I'm able to
It gives it some more headroom before it like really starts breaking.
Really starts to break up.
Yeah,
that's a very cool pedal. One other thing about that in 18 volt mode is it really you can put modulations in front of it, which you can't always do with other overdrive or distortion pedals.
Yeah.
So there's the phase 90 in front of that, and basically just for strumming it. Phaser by itself, which I know they sell here, really good phaser, but that phaser by itself is simply really cool sound.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to use phaser or struggle with. You can only do Eddie Van Halen licks or whatever, but you go back to listen to all the Waylon Jennings and stuff, and the whole country, it's all phaser, and you can use it in about anything if you use it correctly.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that in funk too. Sometimes it bleeds over the where those things kind of sound like are used kind of like an envelope filter. I really dig that sound too.
Yeah.
There's that. So I'm on the digital delay side. I have two delays. First, it goes into the DD6. Give away some trade secrets, basically with the switch rolled back to where it's just barely audible. I can get. And then it kind of makes it thicker.
Definitely that slap back kind of country twang Brett Mason tone for sure.
Exactly.
With that.
And then with just with the switch, with the one turn of that knob from there, which is something great about digital effects, I can get.
Get some of that California country right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the Keeley Mag Echo. It is basically like a carbon copy, MXR carbon copy. The carbon copy has an internal trim pod. The Keeley basically took that trim pod and put it on the outside. So that's what these two buttons are, or these two knobs are. So you can kind of adjust the amount of modulation.
Yeah, how much warble and stuff.
Yeah, how much warble you have. So with that, it's more of the wobbly sound. I really use that a lot for for rhythm parts. So again, something from Wilson and the Walk. I love that sound.
Oh yeah, that's
a great sound.
Great sounding warm tape delay.
And then those two together, actually, yeah, those two together are.
Yeah, that's some U2 sounding stuff there.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That goes out to Scott Thomas.
Who loves U2, by the way. Scott Thomas is
big U2 fan.
He loves U2.
Yeah.
So those are the two delays, and you got like a whole mod station going on over there. It looks like I see flashing lights.
I do. Flashy, blinky lights. Well, honestly, I learned a lesson with this one. I paid a lot of money. You can only use so many sounds at a time. So basically, that is an additional layer of reverb, and which usually stays on, and it's just a hint. It's probably inaudible. You can tell it's there a little bit. And then the other sound I love off of here is the harmonic delay. So this is a kind of a newer sound for me, but. I love how it lets you sustain forever.
Oh, yeah.
And especially on lower notes, it's.
Yeah, it talks about you got the old like spaghetti western style tremolo and delay and reverb going on. That's one of my favorite sounds of all time. Yeah, that whole pedal rig set, it's set up to fit everything you need to do with it, and it sounds great. But none of those pedals could sound that great without having a great amp.
It's true. Yeah, exactly. That's right. So this is and I do not know what year this is, and I apologize, but this is a deluxe reverb. This has the Jensen amp in it. I do set this, and when you get your deluxe reverb, it may be a little different. Some of those apparently begin to break up at around 3. Some of them don't break up till around 7. Mine will break up at around 5.5. So I set it a little bit below that, so that again, when I hit any of these, the amp will actually start to kind of break up itself and overdrive a little bit. Not too much treble. The bass rolled back. Pretty basic stuff on the controls on that. I didn't bring my foot pedal for that, but I do use the tremolo on here sometimes too. Another great sound, more of that kind of like surf rock sound
kind of sound, yeah.
And then on my only quib with this one is with reverb. I've either got basically a little bit next to nothing, or with a simple turn of a switch,
a lot. Yes, it goes from nothing to a lot in just a little turn.
And I gotta kind of play with that sometimes, but to get that kind of sound, I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah, I think Deluxe Reverb is maybe the most versatile amp, especially combo amp, that's ever been produced, in my opinion. Perfect wattage, perfect size for most stages, and then like with most modern PAs today, you mic this thing up. It sounds great. It's got the greatest, great Fender tone for sure. And we got this one mic'd up again with the SM57 tonight for recording purposes.
Standard run-of-the-mill micing.
Yeah.
And it's it sounds great. It's not. I mean, I look at how well it especially even handles that fuzz pedal.
Yeah.
And that's basically.
Yeah, everything you throw at it, it can handle for sure. And one piece of gear that's not in Kris's rig right now, but maybe in the future, we've got this amp sitting on a mud stand, if you've not heard of these, check out mudstand.com. I'll give him a plug. He's a great friend of ours. But he builds these amp stands. They're made out of this high-density foam that puts it at the right angle when you're on stage where you don't have to turn it up as loud to be able to hear it yourself, but also it isolates some of that rumble coming through the stage to that foam and really makes your amp shine. A lot of people are skeptical on that, but I can tell you it works, and it works great. And he's got a lot of great artists playing these stands, and we just put that up here for a demonstration purposes tonight. We do sell those here at the store as well, along with like the Boss pedals, the Phase 90s, the
MXR.
Yeah, we sell MXR. We sell the Way Huge stuff. Even I don't have much in stock, but we do sell Way Huge.
I'm a firm believer in those. That's
if
that's
nothing else, they've got the best names for pedals.
They really.
If you look at their Way Huge line of pedals, it's the best names around.
They really are.
So we'll talk a little bit about Wilson and Walk. We'll get a link up there and a link to our live EP as well. I know from practicing with these guys, it's some of the best musicians around. And Kris, this is the first band I've been in with him, and first watching him play guitar, I don't know, I ain't saying unorthodox, but you come up with different ideas than anybody I've ever been around, and I enjoy it because it challenges me to come up with something different.
I listen to a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, so you can tell it influences, but I like it, and I think it's translated well in the Wilson and the Walk, and everything's kind of meshing together really well, and it's sounding good, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, if Julia ever does this, it'll be the shortest one of these that's ever been done.
I said, Julie, what about your setup?
Yeah, she'll be like, it's
just what I do.
Yeah.
But she's a great musician. She sings great, writes great music.
Writes great tunes.
Yeah. So definitely check out Wilson and the Walk. I guess, if we want to play a few riffs from the Wilson and the Walk and kind of see how your pedals work into that, and you can name the song and then whatever you want to do.
This is called Hellbent.
Yep, that's a new one that we kind of just brought to the table. Have we tried that one yet live?
No, we tried it live. Yeah, we did it live that first.
Oh, okay.
That first show, and then we put it to the back burner.
Gotcha.
But now we're bringing it back.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, like most of this rig and the Fender Deluxe, I forgot to mention that we sell Fender Deluxe here at the store, as well as all Fender products. And Kris, I know you live all the way up in Abden, but still, I believe you come down here to get most of your gear in
Come
Johnson
down
City.
here to shop. Yeah, I do.
And you've been around a lot of shops. What do you think of Campbell's Morrels Music?
Great shop, great inventory, really great people. Dave's awesome, really knowledgeable staff. I want to say if you ask somebody and they don't know, they'll find the answer instead of pretending like they do. So that's always good.
Yeah.
For customer service.
Yeah.
Great process too. So.
Yeah, and we put up a little thing too. Chris has had his guitar worked on here by Tyler before, and we put up a thing yesterday showing Tyler working on it, and had a lot of good feedback on some of the quality work he does.
Absolutely.
And his setup work is impeccable. Always get a lot.
And he switched my setup for being set up from 9s to 10s, so all of this crazy string bending stuff is done on 10, so I like to brag about that as much as I can. But
Yep. So it seems like everybody we have here always give Dave a good compliment for some reason. Dave's a good dude for sure.
Solid dude.
Yeah, so I appreciate you driving all the way up here just to do this rig rundown. Check out Wilson and the Walk again. We thank Jason Vapor back here for editing and filming this stuff, and for filming that live EP for Wilson and the Walk, the mixing and filming of it. And we'll just roll out with a intro to Grave Digger from the Wilson and the Walk band.